If I could go back in time and start investing all over again, I'm gonna do things very differently. When I started investing 3 years ago, I was very excited, but also kind of clueless. I made some solid moves, but also some beginner mistakes, which kind of slowed down my growth and in some cases even cost me money. But here's the thing, investing doesn't have to be so complicated. If I had known the things that I know now, my portfolio would have been in a much better place today. So in today's video, I'm breaking down the 7 key investing mistakes I wish I had avoided. And trust me, these are the things you would want to keep in mind before you put money into the stock market. So just before we get into the video, I have a WhatsApp channel where I share daily tips, explain UK money news in the simplest form. It's absolutely free to join this WhatsApp channel, link in the description box below. And this channel, it's not a group, your privacy is 100% guaranteed. And now let's get into the video. So one of the biggest mistakes beginners make, including myself, is waiting for the right time to start. I wasted months, maybe even a year, trying to figure out everything because I felt like I needed to learn everything before I started investing. But that was not a good idea. I needed to at least learn the basics and then dip my toe into the waters. But I kept feeling like I needed to understand every single thing down to the nitty-gritty before I put money into investing. Let me give an analogy of why this was a bad idea. I should have started sooner. So assuming you invest £100 a month from age 25 at 7% annual returns, you could have £300,000 by retirement. Now let's look at the other side. If you start investing £100 a month at age 35, so 10 years later, at the same 7% annual returns, you would have less than half the amount, so less than £150,000 at retirement, which means the sooner you start, the better compounding interest is going to work in your favor. So if you're watching this video and you're yet to start investing, the best time to get started was yesterday. The second best time is today. But obviously learn the basics, but don't wait too long before dipping your toes in the water. So the lesson here is to start with as little as you can, even if it's just £50 a month, because your biggest advantage in investing is not picking stocks, it's actually time. The person who starts sooner has a better advantage than someone who starts off later on in life. Hand in hand with this mistake of trying to wait at the right time was also trying to wait at the perfect time, like, trying to time the market. I was trying to figure out, okay, when do I actually invest? Do I invest when the market is down? Can I wait until there's a dip when I see people complaining before I put my money in so I can buy a lot of stocks at a cheaper price? But like, that was a wrong strategy. You don't need to time the market, okay? Rather, you want to invest with an approach called dollar cost averaging, where you're investing a consistent amount over time. So you're going to ride the ups and downs of the market. So there's no point waiting till the market is down or trying to time the market so you can get in when the market is down, if that makes sense. Now, the second mistake that I made was not using a tax advantaged account when I started investing. So one of the biggest mistakes I made was that I opened a general investment account instead of a stocks and shares ISA. Now, if you're not very conversant with this, you can actually make that mistake. So for example, on Trading 212, they have different accounts that you can open for investing. There's one called stocks and shares ISA, and there's also another one I think called Trading 212 Invest. Like, they have an invest account, and that invest account is general investment account, which is not the account you want to use to invest or to start investing. So stocks and shares ISA, you get £20,000 tax free every year to invest. But with the general investment account, that account is actually for investing, but with that account, whatever interest you earn is liable to tax. You're going to have to pay taxes on whatever interest you get in a general investment account. So the way to approach it is to use a stocks and shares ISA. If you're able to maximize your £20,000 annual limit, then you can consider a general investment account. So general investment account is like your supplementary investment account. So you start with a stocks and shares ISA first, and then before you consider a general investment account, because if not, you're going to be paying a lot in taxes and nobody wants that. The lesson here is to ensure that the account you've opened on whatever platform it is a stocks and shares ISA and not a general investment account. Very important. So the third mistake I made was not aligning my portfolio to my risk appetite at the time. When I started investing, I played it safe, okay? Even though I did not have a lot of financial commitment. I mean, I was a single lady living in the UK, working, but I played it safe. I was just a bit cautious of, oh, I shouldn't put all my money so I don't lose my money. I felt like I needed to be cautious, even though at that point in my life, I had every reason or opportunity to take risk. So the truth is, I am not risk averse. I'm not someone to shy away from risk. I tend to embrace it. Like, I want to see what will happen if I do this, right? So, but because I had been in a space where I'm always hearing, oh, you need to be very cautious with how you invest and stuff like that, I let general opinion affect how I approached investing instead of me to approach investing to how I feel about it and my risk appetite. And also, I did not have financial responsibilities. Even if I had lost money, it wasn't going to be that much of an impact at that time because I was much younger and I had time on my side to also recover in the stock market. So here's what I should have done instead. So what I did was I had a lot of funds. What I should have done was to have more of my portfolio in stocks, okay? Because stocks tend to give you higher returns, but it's also high risk. So I should have had a huge chunk of my portfolio in stocks and less in funds. 60% in stocks and then 40% in funds or bonds. Another thing I should have done was invest more in growth funds rather than stable funds. You know, I should have been more aggressive with like growth focused funds that have the opportunity to really like grow over time. There's something called the 100 minus age rule in investing or in the finance world, which basically says you subtract your age from 100 and whatever percentage you get is the percentage you should be investing in stocks. So for example, if you're 30 years, 100 minus 30 is 70. That means 70% of your portfolio should be in stocks, okay? And then 30% of it should be in funds and bonds. But once again, this is just like a general rule. It doesn't mean you have to do it exactly. It's only there to serve as a guide. You have to look at your personal circumstance. Are you that open to risk? Or are you risk averse? Are you fine with, you know, managing that kind of risk? Because the younger you are, the more time you have to recover. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, the lesson here is to be more aggressive with your investments. The time to play it safe might be later in life, but once again, take this with a pinch of salt and apply it to your personal circumstance. All right, so the next mistake that I made was ignoring fees, okay? You don't want to ignore the fees you have to pay to invest because trust me, it might seem like a little amount, but over time is really gonna eat into your portfolio and into your earnings. So I used to think that 1% in fees was no big deal until I realized just how much it's gonna eat into my returns over the long run. So when you're investing, you want to check out two things. One, platform fees and also fund fees. So platform fees is usually like the platforms that you invest, maybe Trading212, Plum, Nutmeg, whatever. They usually charge a fee to invest. Now, not all platforms charge fees, so it might be worthwhile for you to check out the ones that don't and maybe consider using those ones first as opposed to the ones that will charge you a fee. The second thing is fund fee. To invest in a fund, if it's actively managed, usually a fund manager who has to be paid, and then there are passive funds such as like the index funds, which, you know, tracks an index. So for platform fee, a range between 0.2 to 0.45% is decent, and then for fund fees, especially for passive funds like an index funds, you want to ensure that the fee is not more than 0.3% to ensure that it's not eating so much into your profits. So the tip here is just to ensure that your fees as much as possible is less than 1% when you combine both the platform fees and the fund fees. All right, so the next mistake is not having a clear strategy. The question here is, why are you investing? Why are you choosing to invest? You need to know your why. When I started, I did not have a clearly defined why. Okay, so are you investing because you want to retire early, or are you investing because you're trying to save up to buy like a big asset later on in life, maybe a house, or are you investing because you want to have money in retirement and then pass it on to your children, generational wealth, stuff like that? So for me, one of the reasons I'm investing currently is I'm trying to work towards retiring early. I don't believe that I need to work till I'm 60 or 65. I'm not about that life. I'm looking at like retiring at 40, 45, God willing, God helping us. So that's my goal for investing. So it helps me stay consistent and commit to, you know, consistently contributing to my portfolio. And not just that, what's your timeline? How long are you giving yourself to invest? Is it a 5-year thing? Is it 10 years you want to invest? Is it 20 years? You need to know like what's your timeline for investing? What type of investments match your goals? If you're much younger, like I already stated earlier, you might want to be very aggressive and invest more in stocks. If you're much older, let's say in your late 40s, you want to consider safe investments or low risk investments because you don't have a lot of time to ride out the ups and downs of the market. Basically, the lesson here is that a solid strategy would keep you from making emotional decisions when the market moves, when it goes up and down. All right, the next mistake is not diversifying properly. Now, I'm sure you've already heard about diversification, but I'm talking about it in a different light. Diversification means having different types of assets in your portfolio. So you are diversified by region. Maybe you have assets in China, USA, global assets. You have assets in Japan, you know, Europe, that is region. You can also diversify by industry, where you have some things in waste management, you have tech, you have pharmaceuticals, in your portfolio. But the diversification I'm talking about, I did that. I did not clearly diversify well within my portfolio. So what I realized that some funds that I was investing in, they had an overlap. So I was basically investing in the same companies across different funds. So let's say fund A had companies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My fund B had funds 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I was kind of like investing in the same companies, although in different funds. So it's very important to be sure that you're still diversifying even within your funds or within your portfolio itself. So you're not investing in the same thing thinking you're investing in different things, if that makes sense. So that's something I wish I had done earlier, because there was a lot of overlaps with the funds I was investing in. A tip here is, if you're investing into multiple funds, check the first 10 companies that those funds invest in. If those 10 companies are the same across all your funds, then you're not really diversified. The next and final mistake that I made was not automating my investments. When I started investing, I was doing a little bit of manual work. When I get paid, I will now, take my phone, sign in, transfer the money, go to the app, take it out of my stocks and shares ISA, invest it. I did that for like 1 to 3 months before I realized this is not sustainable. I can't keep doing this, because what it means is I have to depend on my will. And trust me, it's not every time you feel like putting that money into investing. Like, there might be something else that might come up. So to remove that consideration of, oh, should I invest, should I not invest, it's best to just automate it. So I was lucky enough that the platform that I use allows you to set up direct debit and also automate your investing. So that's something you definitely want to look out for when choosing a platform. So what I did was I set this up. Once I get paid, the next day the money leaves my account and goes into my stocks and shares ISA, and then they have a splitter function in the app. So it then splits that money across all the funds and all the stocks I invest in. Easy peasy, removes the hassle for me. Set it once, forget about it. I like the easy way of life, okay? So the solution here is to ensure you set up like a direct debit for investing, okay? Because it makes the process effortless and ensures that you're consistently building wealth. Alright guys, so we have come to the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to join my WhatsApp channel, which is absolutely free. Link in the description box below. Join the clique, join the community, and get like daily tips and money insights that would help you make money moves here in the UK. Till next time, thank you so much for watching guys. Bye bye.